Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. This awesome creation behind us, this is what we call the YouTube yacht, which we are going to have to come up with a name at some point because I'm getting tired of calling it the YouTube yacht. It's about time to name this thing its forever name. But anyway, in case you can't tell, it's a boat-shaped and themed cabin that we're building. Why? Well, because we can is the main reason. Now, to be honest, I didn't plan on working on the deck yet. We've got stuff lined up to do other projects this time of year. But it's supposed to be 70 degrees today. It's February something, 3rd. It's February 3rd, 70 degrees and sunny. I'm taking advantage of that, and we're gonna try to get the deck posts set into place. We got the material, we got the weather. The only thing I don't have is all the answers of exactly how we're gonna do it. Well, I'm a clever fella. We'll figure something out for sure. I don't know exactly how this is all gonna tie into the top, but I do have some knowns. So let's start with the knowns and then we'll work from there. Step one, let's do a little measurement survey here. These aren't gonna be exact, so I need to kind of find my average. 41 and a half, 41 and a half. Well, we've exceeded our own expectations. That's a fantastic start. Can't you just imagine on this side, leaning on the railing, looking out at the woods? 41, 41 and a half. Wow. He's done it again, folks. So we're using some Simpson Strong Tie 4x4 post anchors. The whole concept is obviously it bolts to the concrete, but then it holds that post up off the concrete to keep that moisture from wicking up in it. Whenever it's all said and done, we've got to do a little fancy wrap on the bottom, but I think that's going to look pretty sharp. So I need to play around with my distances here. So one of the biggest concerns is we're going to be on the edge of that concrete. And you would think that you'd want to make this as wide as possible to maximize your walkway, but one thing we have to take into consideration is breaking off the edge of this concrete. That's not something we want to do. We've got this set up so it's a 36-inch wide walkway on the inside. That would put us right there, and that leaves about 2 inches to the edge, which means our hole is actually about 4 inches in. So that's really pretty decent. I'm not too concerned about that, but now I want this first post to be in line with the outside of this back wall. Easiest way I know to do that is just straight line it with a board. And that should get us pretty close to what we need. Now you can probably notice there's a little bit of a curve here as it starts to curve back for where the paddle wheel supports are gonna go, which means the 36 inches from this corner out isn't gonna be applicable there. So what we're gonna do, we know it's 4 inches to the hole where we want it on the straight section. And that's where that one's going. We're gonna mark them. Now an option I have is traditional. We start with a number, and let's just say we go 8 foot, 8 foot, 8 foot, and whatever we get when we get to this end, that's what we have left over and we make it work. But I would rather everything be perfectly even. I think it would just look nicer. And we gotta kind of play with the walkway a little bit and where the curve's gonna start on the bow. This is going to be a thinking session real quick. So I've got these 4 figured out how I want them. Love it, happy with it. Now I got to figure out what's going on with this curve over here. Okay, that's kind of what we had envisioned. So now what I got to do, I need to lay out the starboard side of the vessel. Boat jokes, nice. Then we'll see where that point comes across. I was hoping for about 5 feet overhang in front of this, and it's gonna be about right. Yeah, let's see how even we are here. Glass. What, does a fella drop a window or something? We are 5 foot 4 3/4. 5 foot 4 3/4. There's no way that a fella got measurements that right. So next step, we're gonna hammer drill some holes with the old DeWalt SDS. We got a 5/8 bit on it. We're running 1/2-inch rebar. That's not right. We're running 1/2-inch concrete anchors with epoxy. We'll talk about that here in a second. But first I need to mark my depth on the bit so that post will sit right about here. All right, now if you remember when we poured this, there's extra steel in this lip specifically for the post. And the posts aren't supporting the roof. The roof's its own freestanding thing, but it is supporting the small amount of deck that is there. So we did put quite a bit of extra steel on this lip. So it is designed for what we're doing, but obviously we don't want to punch through it whenever we're putting our anchors in. Now we're just going to mark it with some tape. It's time to clean some holes out. We got to blow some air down those holes to do so. My generator's out of service, so I rented one. Seems like the most affordable option. Rent yourself a massive man lift with a built-in gen set. You know, that's what I would do. Oh, the key's not on. Every time. But I can't remember. I feel like there was a certain setting you had to have it on for it to work. Let's just plug it in. Let's figure out the setting. It's just the switch. So the setting is on. That's the setting. We've got to have it. Okay. Just a little blow nozzle. A whole cleaning brush. Oh, that's embarrassing. So this is what we're using bolt-wise, all right? Just basically galvanized all thread, nut and washer. And we're gonna epoxy those in. Now this is one of the alternatives. It's called a wedge bolt. I bought a small one just so I could show you guys in case you haven't ever seen it. I just want to explain why we're using the epoxy instead of a wedge bolt, which is something people always suggest. Now I've used wedge bolts and I think they have their place. Exterior applications on the edge of concrete, I don't think that's it, and I'll show you why. So here's the way the wedge bolt works. You see this little collar here? You see this wedge shape here? It's in the name. As you tighten it up, it pulls that up through that collar, shoving that collar out against the edge of the hole, securing it in place. Now the problem with this, for what we're doing, is what that does is around the edge of the bolt, it leaves a space for water to get in. Now again, this is the wrong size bolt. This is a 3/8. I just bought a cheap small one so I could demonstrate. What we'd end up with is the water would get down in there and it would freeze, and over time, it would break that chunk of concrete out from there. And that's a big concern whenever we're anchoring stuff along the edge of the concrete. Now the advantage that we have with the epoxy is we put epoxy in the hole, we put the anchor in the hole, and that epoxy occupies pretty much the whole space. There's definitely an opportunity for some void space around there, and I'm not saying it will keep water out indefinitely forever, but it's going to do a much better job than what a wedge bolt would do in this scenario. Anyway, I'm going to get my bags and try to find another washer. I just like to go through and get everything somewhat prepped and ready. This is what we're using: Redhead construction adhesive, concrete adhesive anchor, and Fast Cure. That's all they have there. It's got a chart on the back. 63 degrees, that's probably closest to what we're at. The working temp, 6 minutes we have to work with it. This is what it looks like. It's a two-part epoxy inside the tube like that. You take the cap off, we screw on the mixing nozzle. It's got that little spiral plastic piece in there. And that will mix the epoxy as it comes out. And we're going to do a few pumps because it needs to be a nice gray color. I'll do it over here so I don't get it on the concrete. There we go, that's the color we're looking for. I've got all my marks, my pencil marks, where everything's supposed to go. Give it a twist. Move to the next one. Now, if we ever do bust this edge off from freeze or thaw, there are ways to fix that, but by far the easiest way to deal with it is just try to set it up to where it's not going to be an issue for us. Okay. Go. So we got both sides epoxied. They look fantastic. Very nice. Very fancy. It's gonna take about an hour for those to get to the working strength where we can trim them and tighten them. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and start getting post cut to length. So obviously on this side we can use the lift, but on this side, certainly not an option. So let's get sketchy with the ladder. Let's do this side first. If I hook the wall and measure that length, that makes me an inch taller, plus 1.5 inches, 2 inches down. Let's just measure, cut one, and stand it up into place. All right, tape measure. Don't let me down today. 200. So this is just a personal preference thing, but I wanted a continuous 4x4 from bottom to top. So these are 20-foot 4x4s. If you're ever trying to find 20-foot material, Menards pretty much has everything in a 20-foot length. Now obviously it leaves me with a pretty good chunk of off-fall. Handy thing about that, 38 inches. If you know, you know. Those will definitely get used on the site later. This seat's pretty handy. Okay, you guys grab that and I'll meet you over there. Right through the window. You know it? That would be, well, probably not surprising for some of us. Okay, I'm gonna leave you here and hopefully I don't hit you on accident. I wonder what my plan is now. I wonder if I can do this. It might work. It might work. Missed the whole shot. You guys are too far back here. What do you think? Nail it in place? Looks pretty good. 203 is going to work. I think I'm going to make the next one 204 though. I can be just a touch longer and not hurt anything. So the ones we already stood up, they just go right to the back of the gutter board like that. We're not too worried about them interfering with the rafters, so that measurement can be kind of loose, we'll say. This one and the one on the end land right underneath one of those rafters, so I need a pretty good measurement for that. This is happening. Oh, excuse me there, bud. Let's see what our height is like right now. A little lacking. Oh no, it's perfect. Shove it up in there like so. I'm not against anything that's happening here. These ladders are heavy and bulky, but I like a heavy, bulky ladder when we're doing stuff that's a little sketchy. I like that too. Okay. Big fan of that too. Huge fan. The biggest. 203/4. I just shoved some brad nails through the hole to keep me hooked on there. Huh? Oh, how does he do it? It's amazing. Now, how does he do it? Daggone it. Okay. Well, I was hoping the grinder would fit in there, but it does not, so here we are. It's amazing how fast that sets up like that. can't put the one on the stern of the vessel. How fun. Because we don't have the roof framing finished on that end. We might get to that today, but let's see if we can get these 8 that we have cut set into place. Now traditionally, if I was building a regular house or cabin or whatever, we would want these perfectly plumb this way, but these will actually lean towards the vessel a little bit. So I've got my mark for the edge of the post. We're taking the little PLS, plumb level square laser, shooting it up to where it needs to be. That way we get the top of the post matched up with the bottom of the post. I think I'm just gonna set it on that plate and gonna go with the hope it stays there plan. Going wrong for me. I'm on the wrong side of that. Let's get over there. Oh yeah. Oh, windy. All right. Oh man. Look at that, huh? It's hard to see with all the other posts, but it's got just a little on it. Very cool. Yep, well, I'm thrilled with that. Probably ought to attach it on this end, huh? Round 2, with confidence this time. Where this one hits, I gotta notch it to get around the rafter. Thought it was gonna be clear when I eyeballed it, but the laser says otherwise. My top fear is that bottom side slips out while we're doing measurements and stuff. No, I need to be on this side. Okay. Oh gosh. Huh? That's not bad. Look at that. Very fancy. Okay. Doesn't that look awesome? I love it. Oh man, holy smokes. Well, let's do the sketchy side, you know? Let's do that. Let's do some ladder work. I think this one will slide in without notching. Let's just set it real quick and see. Let's find out from the ground, huh? Oh, now that's a big one. Oh gosh, jump. Oh no, no, not that. There we go. There we go. Okay. 3. Okay. And then it should go in this spot here. That's the goal. Well, you guys are just stuck looking up there for a little bit. There's some stuff going on down here though. Nothing too. Just straightening this out, bending this back. The top can't really fall forward unless the whole boat goes, and that'd just be something. The bottom could kick out though. That's my number one fear. Even though this has some awesome feet on it, and is a pretty decent ladder. A little tie back there, help keep me from sliding out. Look at that, huh? I think for obvious reasons we're not going through the gutter board on these. We will at some point in the future, probably when we have a deck to stand on upstairs. Grab one more screw to put in that. There's one on this side. 5 total though, if you need the morale boost of counting like that. I feel like I do. There, we're good on this one then. Oh, what's going on up there? What are we doing? Nope, stop that. Stop that. Why are there wasps? It's February. This is the one benefit to February. There's no stinging critters. What are we doing right now? Is the bottom doing okay? It's not doing anything weird down there. There we go. I keep coming over here and just walking through this section. It just, you know, and then a railing, little bench here, like this, you know, watching the sunset. Breaking a window, that's something that could happen. Oh gosh. Let's not say that though. Let's just keep living our best life here. What's going on there? Does anybody know what's happening back there? Okay, don't piss off. We're fine. Yeah. Do the old do-si-do with the ladder here. Guys can't stop walking through here because I just think it looks so cool. You're nailing it, bud. You're absolutely crushing this. Okay. That didn't feel right at all. But we did it. Uh-oh. I can't get over this thing. I can't stop looking at it. Okay, then imagine right there. And then up to a railing. A round, fancy thing there. Let's go look at it from the front, the very front. Let's find the center point here. Huh? Looks pretty good. Looks like a boat. It's a heck of a motivation boost. We got a little side quest we gotta do real quick. We've got to get up into the wheelhouse. There's 3 windows up there, and I got to get the next round of windows ordered, which will be the last round of windows. It's the windows for the 2nd story. I didn't have them ordered before. It's a pretty quick turnaround. It's like a month turnaround time on it. But I just don't have a good place to store windows here close by that's gonna keep them from getting broken. So I only ordered what I could get installed at the time. I only got a little battery left too, so just have to see. It's like a whole unknown world up here. Oh. Oh wow. Okay. Still here, I don't know. I was kind of hoping somebody was working on this while I was down there. Doesn't look like it though, does it? Yeah. So 3 foot on high. All right, very nice. Even though I still got a few hours of daylight left, kiddos will be home from school soon. It is February, it is 70 degrees, and it seems pretty silly to waste the afternoon or the evening working on something that's gonna be here for us in a few days when this weather certainly isn't. Anyway, that's where my head's at with it. The standing seam metal is supposed to come in Wednesday, which is in a couple days, so next video, we're gonna be right back on this. We'll work on getting the rest of the framing on the roof done on the stern end. Those 2 posts in we still don't have, and then we're gonna start on the roof. That's the plan. Standing seam roof is pretty expensive, and I'd just rather get it up on the roof and off of the ground where it can get damaged, you know? Let's get it up there, get it installed. And... oh, I got distracted by how cool that looks. I'm in love with it.